Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to From the Depths with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome back to Building the Fleet. Now, in today's episode, we are going to go ahead and hopefully build something absolutely brutal. A submarine that focuses on spin blocks and rams to absolutely devastate enemy ships, especially more heavily armoured ships, by ignoring the top of them and instead going for the keel and just breaking them apart from the inside. And that's why we have these adorable little nuke drones out at the moment, because although we're not going to be using nukes at all, we are going to be using this type of weapon. Now this technically is a weapon, but actually it's how these things move. It's a two-axis turret which aims at the enemy, and then these lovely little rotor blades allow it to go forwards whichever way the turrets are facing, and this means they turn incredibly quickly. They can aim at almost anything, they can catch up with a flying squirrel and actually match it for turning. In fact, it's faster at turning. It's just a really easy and simple idea. So I thought, how about if we put that on a much larger scale? Instead of having these little drones, having a sub which stays at maybe 100 meters under the water, and then when it's within 100, 200 meters of an enemy, an internal rotor starts facing upwards, and then it goes up and absolutely devastates them, maybe using EMP torpedoes to stop them before it goes in for the kill. I think that will be a lot of fun, and because we can't continue the build without using the nukes first, here we go. Well, you're missing one of your sides there, buddy, but you're trying to stay in the air. Wait, are those always up? If those are always up, then I think it will stay airborne. My god, it survived 3 of them. Though, to be fair, one of them did set off the other early, but still. Well done, Atlas. Is that your mainframe? No, I think it's your weapons. I think your mainframe's at the back. Anyway, let's get to work. And so the first block is placed. Okay, so I do have a basic idea of how I want to do this. Now, this is loosely based off how the Devourer works from the White Flayers, though I've purposefully made sure to not really look at it too much, so hopefully I'm not just making a carbon copy of how the front section works. So what we're going to do is place down some light blocks, and I'll explain why in a second. That seems like more than enough, and then we are going to go ahead and put down our two-axis turret. There we go. Now, the light blocks are something very special and something I really never use because they don't interact with other blocks and kinetic shots actually go through them. The problem is they are incredibly vulnerable to explosions and they themselves are explosive. Yeah, they're also incredibly trippy, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Now, on this turret, we are going to need a local weapons controller, which needs to be hooked up to, of course, the mainframe. We are then going to need a weapon, at least I think it still works like this. And in this case, we're going to use the laser combiner. That way the turret knows that it is indeed a weapon turret and will aim at an enemy. At least that's the idea. Then finally, all we need is a lot of those beautiful, beautiful dedicated Hellblade spinners. Now, can I just place this here? Yes, I can. Absolutely lovely. Let's do a bit of mirror mode here so we can be nice and lazy. 1, 2, 3. Actually, how many can we get? Let's do it this way instead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's probably big enough, honestly, because we are going to be adding more. But, yeah, let's go with that. And extend these as well, as you can imagine. And then I'll just keep on doing this until we've got a very large section here. I now realise at the start of this video there was very likely some mic crackling. I still am using the broken microphone because the guy who's going to repair it went on holiday without telling me, and then when I phoned him up to say, oh, can you repair it today? Well, I apparently phoned him while he was in Spain, so that's always good now, isn't it? But anyway, this should be working as intended. There we are, excellent. We'll do all the dimensions properly soon and fill it in correctly. Just right now, I want a working prototype. So that's all well and good. I should have set all of these in reverse. Let's have a quick check. Yes, I have. So what we want is we don't want this on all the time. We are going to have normal propulsion. In fact, quite quick propulsion. I want this to be cruising along minimum, absolute minimum, 30 meters per second. That is the minimum I will go for, even though going quickly underwater is a bit more difficult because of all the drag, obviously. We still need to be quick. If this is going to be how we finish off targets, we need to get there quickly. Thankfully with subs, it's a bit harder to kill us on the way, which is pretty good, but even so. So with these, all we want is the spin blocks. In fact, I'll put these much closer, so we can have other spin blocks on the craft. Spin block, set rotation speed to maximum when an enemy is within a certain range. Where are you? If there is an enemy... I am blind. There we are. Enemy range is less than, I would say, about 200. So we start going up a little bit. Well, actually, maybe it should be absolute minimum. Remember, though, we are 100 meters below the water potentially. So this number will change depending on how deep we end up using this sub. So for now, though, let's just make sure it's actually working. That looks so weird because of how... That's just so weird. Why are you two just staying there? What's going on with you two? I'll check that in a moment.
Weapons only.
Oh, yeah, definitely working. Yeah, that's dragging us there, and that's without engines. So to make sure that we point the right way, because of course we do need the huge spin block on the front, we need the center of mass to be way back here. So I think this craft will actually end up being quite big. Thankfully, I'm not really putting any restrictions on it. Oh, okay, look at that. Well, apparently we've put the metal too far here. Again, I'll sort all that out last. That's one of the last things. That and the numbers. And then when there's no enemies, I want the rotor to turn off. We always want it aiming at the enemy, but we don't always want it to be spinning. So, spin blocks, rotation speed to 0. Thank you. When the enemy range is... For now, we'll just put them both on maximum. So, if there is an enemy, full stop. Okay, but let's figure out what on earth's going on there. No, where's the float? Yeah, these. What are you doing? Oh, that isn't connected. Okay. Have no idea when that got deleted, but still. Jazz hands. So I think I'm going to do is I'm going to build the giant spin block on the front first, and then do everything else last. So, range, I don't know when this is going to be able to reach. Let's just turn on this so we can actually see it spinning. Say 10. Then turn it off. Okay, that can reach. How about 8? No. 9? There we go. Okay, lovely. So both of you range of 9. Thank you very much. Now at the front, we need our spin block. I might actually just build the spin block horizontally first, so I can actually see what I'm doing, then I'll place it on the front. So it's going to be very similar to the Devourer of the white flyers, like I mentioned before. Also, I am now noticing, after watching my audio in the corner, that there's still a bit of distortion. I do apologise for that. It seems like the microphone is getting worse by the day. There's not much I can do about that, unless I just don't want to record videos, which obviously isn't really good. Spin block, hello. Okay, you are going to be huge. I want you to cover basically all of this and a little bit more, because we will be adding extra armor, so... Yeah, you are just going to be absolutely huge. Funnily enough, that's actually closer to a circle than I wanted. I didn't really want it to be so circular, but I think I will leave it just because I've done it by accident now. The reason is, if you have a spin block like this spinning, honestly, you can get away with having quite a thin section, and that's just about it, because it is making just so many rotations per second that it is covering all that area for a much lower cost. It also means you can go ahead and add rams to the side, and anything going through will then be caught. But for now, I guess this is just how we're going to do this. Funnily enough, with this type of craft, and in this game, having this just as a flat bed of rams probably would have been a better idea, but for now, we have the spike cake. Okay, spike cake, let's save you. Yep, I can easily remove that one. Just put you on the front, and then we can get building the craft itself. Now, of course, we could have used the ram system rather than the spin blocks, but honestly, this is just so much more efficient. There we go. That is so much bigger than I thought it was. My god. Well, Nipside's going to really hurt when he hits something. At least that's the idea. Yeah, this is going to be huge, isn't it? Might want to scale that back a bit, honestly. Otherwise, we're going to be here all day building this. Oh, but it does look really evil and cool, and I do like evil and cool. I mean, good and cool, because we're not evil. We're the good guys. I didn't even put this in the middle, did I? Of course I didn't. It was so big I couldn't see the middle. Let's try that again. There we go. Now it's actually in the middle. And ain't that lovely? Other problem with the spin block being so huge is that it will actually cause all of that turning on the craft, because unlike the dedicated Hellerblade spinners, the spin is actually applied to the craft you're using. Normally, I have 2 of these at minimum, both of which spin opposite ways, and therefore this isn't an issue. This does mean, though, I am going to need a counterweight. Oh, what I could have done is do a spin block on a spin block. Then have the first one go, wait, no, that wouldn't work because it's spinning the other one. But you get the idea, we could have 2 weapons. Split it into 2. But I just prefer it looking like this. The question is, will a PID system be able to deal with that? That is a lot of turn. That does not look like it's having a fun time, but yep, the PID can actually cancel out the spin. Just not in a nice way. It doesn't seem to be able to calculate very easily the spin incoming because it's just not registering. I've tried a few different settings and I will continue to try. Currently, this is the best we've got. It works. It just looks so in pain. That's it. Let the dark powers run through you, child of chaos. Maybe it's screaming internally. There's a pleasant thought. That looks a lot better. Yep, that is much, much better. Okay, we're getting very close. It seems that the craft is coming to terms with its fate. It's being soothed and sedated as it slowly descends to devour the world itself. Nope, not just yet, buddy. You ain't eating the floor just yet. Oh, I've also added a very, 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 very simple fuel engine. We're not even going to look at that fuel engine because it ain't staying. I'm not even going to provide context. You don't need context. I love this game. Well, it definitely works. I'm sorry, did you have armor? Just look at how many beams are being broke off per second. And this is before we balance it so it actually attacks properly. That is going to be so nasty so fast. So when it comes to pitch, although we do have this, we are going to need way more. That will nowhere near be enough. So most likely what we're going to do is have propellers set to the PID with pitch, but we'll have 2 separate PIDs, and one will turn off when we get within 100 meters, and then be much more brutal, much more altitude heavy. The other one is more balanced and actually causes us to not sink. You see, there's your problem. You got something stuck in your engine. And so it continued to devour the poor host from the inside, nurturing its soon-to-be young. Don't know why this is part of the breeding cycle of this particular craft, but apparently it is. The cycle of life, everybody. Cycle of life. General purpose. Okay, actually, no. This is how we're going to do it. Not more than one PID, but more than one control block. So when the enemy range is greater than 200, go ahead and set this to 0. Good. Test stimulus 0, and that is for pitch. You should be thruster reverse, so that should work according to plan. Same with you, because you're both on the back. Thank you very much. And underneath, when an enemy is closer than 200, set it to, sure, 180 for now. That's fine. So when it gets too close, this should jump over to 180, and it should try to help it pitch upwards towards the craft. And it's working. Now it's straightened up, the bottom is activating, and we're about to hit a bit of landmass. Ignoring that, okay, that is working, and this is definitely going to be 2 videos at this point, I realise, because this is going to take me so many hours. Right now, we are a hollow shell, just trying to prove the concept, and stammering as we do it. But either way, we are trying to prove the concept of this actually being a functional thing, and if we can do that in this episode, then we can continue next time. Now, when this is all finished, the centre of mass is going to be drastically further back. It won't be so far forwards, which means this will be more efficient, the turning on the front will be a lot better, and honestly, controlling the pitch a lot easier. As for controlling the altitude, I'm torn between an internal Helleblade spinner and just a basic PID, just going, this is how high you should be, use rotors, have fun. Choices. Yep, that's definitely working. Now it's got close enough, the PID is swapped, and it looks like it's actually going to be a direct hit, which is impressive since we can't currently control its altitude to start off with. But look at that! Yes! And we bounce off. Excellent. That's exactly what I wanted to see. But on a more serious note, that will be a lot easier to control in the future, so that is actually wonderful to see, even with the weird bounce at the end there. And with that, I think, as a proof of concept, yeah, I think it's done. We have definitely achieved the proof of concept level, which is great, so now we can get to work doing this properly. So, what do we need then? We need altitude control, obviously. We need the centre of mass to be way different to where it currently is, so we can actually work with the darn thing. And we need to make it look like something which isn't just a stick with a spinning block on the end, which would be nice as well. I'm thinking traditional sort of submarine shape. Yeah, something like the Black Current, which is one of the Steel Strider things. Where are you, you little bugger? Oh, here's a thought. If we come up against an enemy sub, the PID going up like that will really mess with us. So maybe we'll need 2 sets. So enemy altitude. Well, saying that, this will always be focusing on a ship, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. But if there's too many ships together, yeah, I will have to swap that actually. It could be confused way too easily by a swarm of enemies or by enemies of different altitudes. So either we make it a far sharper turn and thus close the detection so it's not so far away before it starts doing that upwards turn, or we make it more specific. It's one of the two. We summon this guy in. Oh, there he is. Hello. I say traditional sub, but yeah, I really do like this thing shape. Something like that, or maybe even copying the Devourer a little bit from the Steel Strider. Not Steel Striders, the... What are you called? White Flyers. I've said it enough times today, but apparently my mind is now melting because I have spent hours now building this, just because I didn't know how to do many of the things and I had to find out for myself. Yeah, doesn't really come across like that sometimes in the video, but that is the case. Oh. Good dodge. Not so good dodge. Did I actually destroy anything? No, not really. Question. Underwater harpoons. Do they work? If they do work, why not use them for a bit of a laugh? Okay, where I'd like to put them is just put them in this corner for now. Again, this is just me messing around, testing out a few ideas. Next episode we'll be actually trying to flesh this thing out, which will take even longer. Oh, they definitely work. Even when set up as badly as that. Oh, Plague God. Hello, thumbnail. Oh my god, it's keeping it perfectly there. Oh, that is wonderful. That is so wonderful. Note to self, though, those torpedoes need way more fins. And we need to do something about this situation, which seems to happen too much, but still, look at that, actually tipping over the Plague Guard. Killing the Plague Guard. Oh, that's amazing. All non-automatic propulsion has been turned off. Let's see what effect these have. Click. Oh, it's definitely bringing it to it. Oh god, that looks terrifying from underwater. Look at it speeding up. So yeah, against something as heavy as the Plague Guard, it still makes it move. And then does this. I am so happy right now. I've got this smirk on my face that just isn't going away. Maybe we just need some more winches. But even with just that level, it holds the enemy in place so well and makes sure the attack is so in line. Beautiful. One more test. I just can't help myself. More winches this time. Oh no, you are kidding me. Into the depths you go, Plague Guard. It managed to drag the Plague Guard underwater. The reason why that is so bizarre to me is that the Plague Guard has a really aggressive PID with underwater turbines trying to keep it at all costs above water. So to see it pull down is just broken. I think today was a huge success. All motion has been turned off. Let's see how this does versus, you know, just a humble marauder. And yes, I'm having far too much fun doing these tests. Hello. It's like the Force. Hello, Marauder. Fancy seeing you down here. Oh, that is just fantastic. I love that so much. Yep, I think, oh, I think I've did something beautiful today. Look at the speed that thing got. So, it can also be configured to kill smaller aircraft. I don't think it'll be able to take down more advanced ones, though, because, well, they have a lot more spare engine power and are not being flown mostly from balloons. If you won't come to me, then I'm coming to you, Medringard. Or not. Medringard, no. Med, help, no. The hunter becoming the hunted or something. Stop having those! So, this isn't a position you really want to be in. Though saying that... No. Well, you kind of bounced. It was a good try, you got further than I expected, and you've let go. Maybe if it attacked from a bit further back, so the munition defenses wouldn't have worked as well. It tried. I'm not quite sure if this is going to work still. I'm hoping, yeah, I was about to say, I'm hoping once it gets past it though, because it's pulling like that, that should cause a few problems. Oh, that is just so wrong. Still can't quite hold it still long enough to actually do damage, but I mean, if you get the Medron God in the ocean, you've probably won. Now, of course, if the Medron God was actually on, it would have been turning and stuff to combat this, but you know, it's still an achievement. Bye, Medron God. Love you. Yep, and the devouring begins. Oh dear. Seems like your wing's a bit stuck there. I mean, you weren't the main target, but oh, that looked painful. This is just not getting tired. Oh my god. And that's an underwater airship being devoured. Yep, airship should not be underwater. The clue's in the name. Okay, I've got to call it here, otherwise I'll be doing this all day. I really hope you've enjoyed. In the next episode, we'll take it a bit more seriously, but I needed this today. Oh, just silly insanity. Oh! Oh, that is just... Oh, my inner sadist was very happy with that. Oh, Dark Lathrix is happy. Well, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed today's video, then of course, likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that From the Depths is a series you wish to see continued in the future. This craft is going to need a name, and I can't wait until we have the finished version, which can actually fight proper battles rather than just being on with the enemy off. But still, thank you, and goodbye. If I have a dark or evil side inside of me, it's remarkably happy right now.